of eight. What is pieces of eight? Well, you can see here, teacher, I want you to know that I believe that you are the captain of your ship. Your classroom is your ship. You are the expert. You have the roadmap, or as you will, the pirate here has his map to the hidden treasure. You, teacher, are the captain of your ship and have every right to set the course on the way you should go. What I think that you've been lacking is your pirate's mate, the first mate. And so here my pirate does have a first mate. His name is Nate. And I'm here to introduce you to your first mate and the language treasure chest, which is what you need in order to set sail in your classroom in order to help your students sail towards success in the 21st century. So, I think I'd like to introduce you to now the chests. There are 10 chests. Each chest is a separate booklet, and it's a separate theme in our program. They're really highly motivating themes for the students, and I believe you teachers will enjoy being the captain of your ship with these themes that will, and activities that will be motivating to you. Themes such as school, the family, the farm, occupations, clothing, and food, and even transportation. Now, what can we do with these themes? First of all, they have many links across the curriculum. They will be easy for you to integrate into your ongoing program, whether you have another ESL program that you need to sync with, or whether you're just going to be putting the ESL into the rest of your program. There are the links across the program. And so, for instance, the previous sheet, if it kind of moved a little bit too fast here, was a theme having to do with clothing. And the link to the curriculum, there is one sheet per unit, per theme, that is aimed at specifically integration. The themes themselves can be integrated, but one sheet is specifically made to help you integrate into the curriculum. And so this is a social studies or science link that clothing protects us from the weather. And so you can see here that there's a windy or cold day. There are worksheet directions that are given here on the left-hand side. And it tells us in direction number 2, it's a hot day. Well, it's not a hot day. Whenever you see a word with a line under it, that means you can substitute the correct vocabulary you want to use at that point. And so it tells us, then we would say, it's a cold day or it's a windy day. Do we wear swimsuits on a cold day? If yes, put your swimsuit on top of the cold day. If not, put the swimsuit on the correct weather picture. You can see that this is correlated. Let me see if I can show you here. These are the different programs in different districts, different states. There are anywhere from 3 to 5 levels. And the first level is your very beginning, early beginner stage. And then you have your intermediate and your advanced. Sometimes there's a little bit of division in there. And I have also a 5th level here that could be your highest level of discourse. And this one also integrates into the reading and language arts area. Now, in this case, it just says the upper level only, but you can easily have a student get their literacy training. Like if it was just matching the word cold and hot to the picture, you would be crossing into literacy. So let's go on. This is another social studies and science integration worksheet in the home unit. And the concept is that members of the family help each other. Now, these worksheets, all the activities will address all 4 domains of language. And so this one is a listening activity. And direction number 2 again here says, see the mother with the baby bottle? Where is she? Who is she helping? Now it's marked that it is for students in the 2nd level, which would be students that are already speaking, but it could easily be answered just by pointing. But in fact, there are 3 mothers, so the student has to listen and comprehend the word mother, but we want the mother with the bottle. there was something about baby, and the two mothers have the babies, but only one mother has the baby bottle. And who is she helping? There's the baby. So they can point to the mother, or they can point to the baby when they're saying, who is she helping? Or they could say baby. Now in speaking, there is a worksheet here that is for fun with language. Those are always cut and paste kind of activities. And there's directions given here. We're going to use the direction here, number 5, that says play a game. I went to the store. So what kind of, do you see some units, some themes in your classroom that you could integrate this into? Okay, great, I hope so. And this is a speaking activity where you're going to cut the basket out and paste it together. And then the first student says, I went to the store and I bought an apple. The second student says, I went to the store and I bought an apple and some carrots. And then the third student will say, I went to the store and I bought an apple and some carrots and some strawberries. What about reading? We can easily move into reading. This one, actually, this activity here is one where they have heard the story Caps for Sale. Students can chorally read the repetitive lines in the story, which in this instance is caps for sale, caps for sale. Or as a after activity, follow-up activity, they could, it says write and illustrate words that have the same, that begin with the same sound as cap. So like can, car, cup, etc. This could be a discrimination activity where you ask whether or not yes or no, do they start with the same sound? Or they could, here it says write and illustrate words that rhyme with cap. And so we have lap, map, nap, rap, and sap. This could be on in a game, it could be on a piece of paper, some kind of a follow-up activity. What about moving into language experience? There's lots of language experience ideas. This is a really highly recommended approach, right? Who uses language experience out there? Great. So this one says, take a picture, dictate. The picture is the people are sailing in the boat. You print it on a sentence strip, right? And cut the sentence strip into smaller words. And then what you can put those words in an envelope. Later on, they can come to the sentence chart, put the sentence together. Maybe you want to write the sentence on the front of the envelope so they can check themselves. A lot of great activities that we can do with this kind of a thing. What about this? What about poetry? I just love poetry, and I think it's great for introducing our second language learners to classic English poems. A lot of our English-only students aren't learning these anymore, are they either? That's why we recommend this program at kindergarten and first grade. You can use this with the whole class, and as long as you are using objectives that are meant to meet the needs of the EL students, you're providing good English language development as well. So what do we do with poems? Right, okay, does anybody have them memorize them? What about a poem? Could you see yourself having them cut them into sentence strips and reassemble the poem? Then in writing, I love the Very Hungry Caterpillar. Who out there uses Very Hungry Caterpillar? Great, there's a lot of repetitive work in this, right? I like that kind of thing for our English-only our second language students. I'm trying to get back here. I'm not doing very well. Sorry about that. So anyway, that was a shape book cover. You could have them write the story, a different ending to the story. They could copy the sentence, the caterpillar eats the whatever he eats. How about what's another food that the caterpillar can eat tomorrow? Lots of fun activities that we can do with this. Another kind of a writing activity to meet the individual needs of students. Some of our students need fine motor development, especially our youngest pre-K and K students. This suggests that you can have worm words with Play-Doh and print out on cards some of the words that you want them to work on. If this was a vehicle, this is from a vehicle unit, so we're going to have maybe the word cars written in nice large letters on a card perhaps at a station. And a lot of our pre-K and K teachers have kids go to stations, correct? So roll out the Play-Doh into worms and then form the letters over the top of the words. This is a fun activity for students just to practice a different way to write the word. And as you can see, there's also suggestions here for making a vehicle with toothpicks and marshmallows or doing a float and sink activity. That's not with writing, but those are some other fun things to do. Motivating to kids for sure. So then beyond the 4 domains, it's important to build success for the future. Yet speaking English is clearly not enough. They need to have the English that they need for academic success. Often when ESL programs are cut short and you just wait till they have some conversational English, you're not going to help the students develop the academic English that they need in order to succeed. You know, if they start out young, by the time they get to high school, they're going to be speaking English. And in fact, when I used to administrate programs at the 9 through 12 age level and grade level, I should say. So students at the 9th through 12th grade level are speaking English. They're speaking English when they drop out. What they don't have is the academic English that they need to succeed in our programs. So this is an activity where they're going to classify whether or not the animal, whether it is a farm animal or not a farm animal. So a chicken is a farm animal. Flowers are not a farm animal. And a pig is a farm animal. So what are we doing here? We're categorizing and using graphic organizers. What other kinds of activities could we do with this? What skills are we developing? Do you have some ideas? So share them or jot them on a paper. I hope that this is helping you see that these are some materials that would really help you as the captain of your ship determine how you're going to help your students succeed academically. In math, we can make graphs. This is a car unit, the transportation unit. You can graph what are the colors of your favorite cars. How many cars do we have in our classroom? Some families have 1 car, some have 2, some have none. Or maybe you went on a walk around the neighborhood at the younger ages and counted up the cars. And so you can make a car graph. So pieces of 8, you say. Why is it called pieces of 8? Well, first of all, because I have this idea of you as the captain of your ship with has a pirate, and pirates are looking for treasure, and that's what I'm bringing you with the pieces of 8. It's a treasure chest. And so pieces of 8, we've got 8 pieces. That means 8 different kinds of activities, at least, that are in each theme. One is to build vocabulary. Another one is to build social studies and science integrations. One is just for having fun with language. There are 2 different verbs that are sequences of 3, which is the appropriate number for the pre-K and K level, but it also gets along with the idea of the future, going to what's happening right now and what happened. So you've got your future, your present, and your past. We integrate poetry, we integrate literature and literacy, and then there's a set of 8 basic vocabulary cards. Now, I just totally believe we do not have like a limited set of words that we have to memorize. We need to immerse students in lots of language, wouldn't you agree? So the basic vocabulary cards are just to give you some tools to help you manipulate and do some activities with the unit. So that's the piece of 8. If there's any questions, I'd welcome you to ask them at this time. The second program is called Nate the Pirate's Mate. We introduced him a little bit earlier. There's our captain, that's you. And then we have the Pirate's Mate and the Treasure Chest. This is a book of that has the same 10 themes, all 10 themes in one book. What it has is one board game per unit, per theme, an easy card games suggestion that you can play. And it starts with a story about Nate, and Nate as it relates to that theme. So in the school unit, here's Nate, and he's going to school for the first time. He wants to learn English. After the story, after the activities in the theme, there is a small little book. This is to fold up, and here's an example here of a book that I can show you. And the students can illustrate to show that they understand it. They can read it along with the teacher. The story at the beginning was a story to listen to appreciate the story. So then after that, there are the board games and the things that you need to play the game. So here's It's Recess game. There's the directions for Eat at Nate's, which goes to the restaurant unit, and a die. And finally, there is a set of cards. These are just the size to play a small card game. Now, an important thing about this is these games can go with the pieces of 8, or they can go with any other theme. They are basically designed for kindergarten through 6th grade, or any student who is at the beginning levels of acquisition. So for 5 years, I was teaching English as a second language at Spokane Falls Community College and also at Spokane Community College. My students were students that came to the United States, want to get into the college program, but they didn't pass their beginning test. They didn't pass their TOEFL test. And so they needed some more English. So we provided an intensive English program. My students, as 17, 18, 19, 20-year-olds, basically had no formal English before. Some of them spoke a few words in English because they had listened to American movies, but they basically had no literacy in English and very, very limited skills. And because of that, I find that you have to do lots of repetitive activities on the same topic. They can't be very long because it's hard to sustain their attention at that time. So I would do a bunch of different things that came out of our textbook, but at some point they were like tired and we needed a quick pick-me-up, fast, fun game, and I played these board games and card games with them. And so if you have students in a special ed setting, you can use them up through the end of up through high school. Maybe you've got parents that are in a parent ed program or an adult ed program. After a long day of work, they're going to want some variety. So you can use this program all the way through then. Well, thank you for joining me on our discovery tour. I hope you have found your language treasure chest. I hope it is a great addition to your roadmap that you have for success with your students. I want to see you all sailing to success in the 21st century. Have a great afternoon. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for joining me.